I think he's a little nervous. So he's ready to go. Like I said, I'm sorry for some of those guys who are going to have to line up across from him. So he's ready to go. He's ready to start practicing. So that's good. Talking about these guys, they're 2-2, very much in this division race, looking for a win. I've known Zach a long time, coached with Zach. What he's done out there has been pretty amazing. And, they've built something pretty special over there. So they got good players, man. 1 and 5 are good. This quarterback's capable. The back, man, he's explosive. He finds a crease. He can take it. I think 15's a crafty returner. Defensively, I've always loved Slayton up there in the middle. Hill, long time, steady, reliable, hard-nosed. Aside, certainly Hendrickson on the edge. 55 Logan, seen it all, done it all, run and hit. So, they got some good guys, man. I think their nickel's a good player too. They got some dudes, man. So we got to be ready to go, out at their place. But we're looking forward to it.
Panay's playing at a pretty high level. I mean, he's been playing at a pretty high level for a long time, obviously. But when you have a player that good, what growth have you seen maybe from last year? Sometimes we maybe don't see those small things he's getting better at. And then he's still just 24 years old. So what is sort of the upside that he still has left in him?
He's I don't know if you can say enough great things about Sewell. He's I just think that he continues to do things that are they're rare. They're rare. His athletic ability, his ability to bend, the explosiveness, the tenacity, the FBI, the football intelligence. And I think that is where he's really taking it to another level. Because I think every year, he learns something new about the game, and he learns about himself inside of this game and what he's capable of. And I still believe he just scratched the surface of where he can go. I think he's special. And but I go back to this. Yeah, he's got ability. God gave him some rare ability and size and length and all that. But this guy busts his tail, man. He works. He works every day in practice, man. He works his craft. He doesn't take plays off, and it's no wonder he's become the player that he has.
The guy on the other side, Taylor, just with what he's been dealing with, Dan, you guys getting him ready for Sundays to have the game that he had against Miles last week. Probably going to see Trey a lot this week too. Just how impressed were you with what he's dealing with, how well he's been playing?
Always impressed, man. Decker's been laying it on the line for us, and we know he's not 100%, and so it's taken everything to get him back to those games ready to compete, and that's been big, man. We've and so what he's been able to do over the 4 weeks has been, it's been impressive, and we're fortunate that he was there for us, to help us out. So. I think he's been playing good football, and it's just about getting him back, trying to get his body back,
When Davenport went down, I think on this side we thought Muhammad and O'Connor would fit into that mix, replacement plan, but Tyler Lacey was a guy that played a lot of nose tackle, I think, for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him on the practice field since picking him up off waivers that you saw maybe an edge fit, and how have you liked what he's giving you in that role?
Well, number one, he plays hard, and that showed up on that tape. He's got length, and he sets edges. Like you can see him. He plays big. He plays stout. He plays strong. And then there's enough in there when you see him catch an edge, man, he can push the pocket, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So we saw those, what I just said, and then we see versatility. Like we think he can play some of this big end too, And yeah, he played more nose, some 3 technique. But we're like, man, this guy can play big end. He's a good enough athlete to do that. And so that's where we've kind of, used him a little bit in that regard. But we do think he's got versatility.
You guys are on the 3-game sackless streak right now. Obviously, Cleveland was still getting pressure, though. I'm just curious from your perspective, how much credit do you think goes to Goff for that run without a sack and his growing pocket presence, mobility, whatever you want to call it?
Look, it's always going to start with the O-line. All right, I'm going to start there, man. The way those guys work together, We talked about our 2 tackles, but then how they all work in unison, man. Graham sometimes turning the protection away, if all things being equal, and now we can get a slide one way. So you're helping the center, which helps the guard, which the guard helps the tackle, right? Those things. So those guys are working together really well. All right. Number 2, Goff has been outstanding in the pocket. He's been really good, man. His pocket presence, when he's chose to step up, he's chose to move, it's been right on, and that helps big time. Number 3, our receivers they are getting open with speed. They're playing with urgency into the pass game. We talked about that last week, man. Those guys have to outrun the rush. And so when you do all 3 of those things, that's good things happen.
Obviously, Joe Burrow's, out. And when you go back to look at, Goff, and what he's been able to provide just from an availability standpoint and the durability of what he does to kind of keep himself, able to go week after week. Can you talk about just the value that in itself?
Listen, durability, man. Durability, availability is always the greatest asset that you have as a player, because with that is the consistency. They're going to be there. We're fortunate to look. Goff's a tough player, man. He's taken some hits and he's been able to get back up and move on. He doesn't get frazzled by stuff, and he is tough. But those things. Look, we're fortunate. We're fortunate, and so that's why we got to keep this guy on both his feet there. That is what it is.
How does their offense look different since without Burrow? What is their off? They haven't scored much the last couple.
Well, they're doing the same things. They're really I would say proceeding the same way for the most part. Maybe some quicker throws, things of that nature. But there's a lot of this team throws it a lot, and Primo looks they'll run it. But I don't feel like it's that different. We know these 2 receivers are really good, and they're looking for those matchups. They feel like they can get a one-on-one. That's where the ball's going, and why wouldn't it? So we're going to have to do a good job of disrupting those guys as much as we can, and try to limit what they can do over there, but also not let this guy tear us up in the run game either. So I don't feel like it's something different though.
I know you guys have been targeting certain types of guys when you're building this team. When you look at Aiden Hudson, when he first came with the team and he first started carrying a water jug, what was your thoughts on? I know you mentioned that before. It reminds you of like some of the old school guys, but what was your thoughts when you seeing him with that water jug?
I don't know. Everybody I used to know used to carry water jugs, so I guess it feels a little old school. I don't know what's in there. Mine used to be tap water, but so I'm sure his is a lot more purified, But yeah, there's things. I'll tell you this: he takes care of his body, man, and that is a priority for him, and that's important, and because that's how you make a living, and that's how you're able to have the production you are, because it's coming from that, man. That's your engine. So he does a great job with that.
Just wondering if there's last 4 here: John, Sean, Colton, Larry. Just wondering if there's a clearer picture of the potential return of Josh Pascal.
No, I would say same thing as I said whenever that was a week or 2 ago. He's improving, but he's not ready yet.
Dan, Amon-Ra's gotten a lot of appreciation and respect the last 2-3 years, but it seems like it's kind of there's been an uptick just in the last, since the start of the season. Have you noticed something different in his game, and just overall, again, what makes him one of the 2-3 best receivers in the league?
No, I don't see anything different. I know what this player is. I'm well aware of what he is and what he's capable of. And so, to me, he's been doing this for really 4.5 years. Once he figured it out halfway through 21, he's just been, and it's just there. Nobody's as consistent as he's been. There may be some that are close. Certainly there's good receivers in this league. I'm not saying that. But this guy is day in, day out, game in, game out. Man, the production is always there. And what makes him different is this. It's this and it's this. And he's got that will to win, right? You're going to will things to to go your way. But it's not just lip service, man. It's the work. He knows, like, that's important to him. The work that you put in to prepare is important for him. He wants it hard out there because it makes it easy. That's how he views it, man. It makes it easy on Sundays, or a hell of a lot easier. But that's him. In criticals, there is not one doubt in his mind he's not going to win. He will win, and he will do everything in his power to find a way to win a rep and will the game into our favor. That's the difference. I mean, it is. And you'd love to say everybody's that way. They're not all that way. Some really great players, but they're not all that way.
Could you explain just the value of having man cover corners in this defense, then I guess the trickle down effect it has on guys like BB and Kirby, and then the defensive line?
Well, when you're able to play sticky on the back end, we kind of mentioned this, man. The coverage and rush goes hand in hand. The stickier you play, you buy yourself a tick to be able to get to the quarterback. He may have to hold it. He's got to make a perfect throw. A lot of times what happens is that's a sack, or it's a sack fumble, or it's a tip ball, or it's an ill-advised throw that turns into a takeaway. And now all of a sudden you start getting takeaways. Now the next guy believes he's going to get a takeaway. And, well, that means we need to play even stickier, right? And there's this pride that begins to build. And it's you believe that's the way you're meant to play the game, right? There's an aggressive nature to it, and it's nothing comes easy, right? And that's the style we want to play with. Nothing comes easy if you play against our defense, and that's what we want.
You said you weren't going to put mouse traps around like Parcells did, but do you use any other visuals, or what messaging do you have to, in a game like this, to send that same message?
No, it's just like we said last week, man. We got our standards, and we don't sacrifice those for anybody or anything. So sacrifice and identity, that's what it's about. We got to go to work. We got to put in a good day's work, 3 good days here, base, third down, red zone, to make sure we're ready to go out there in Cincinnati. We do that, we'll be ready.
Real quick, when you moved Scotty from the running back room to wide receivers, just given his comprehensive resume, did you expect him to bring the impact and perspective of David and Jameer and what they're looking for on these routes to help with blocking, or is this just a gravy on top situation?
No, well, yeah. Here's what I knew this would be great for our team. It would be great for our team. It was going to be great for our offense, and it was going to be great for the receivers. And because he understands the pass game very well. He knows those guys in that room, but he also does have that perspective of the run game. And look, these are what the backs are looking at. This is what the old line's thinking here. This is why, yes, that's who you got, but this is how you should block him, or where you want him to go, or where we think this run might go. So now you need to be thinking, go back here once it breaks out. So that's icing on the cake because he does have that perspective. But Scotty understands this game very well, top to bottom, pass game, protection, run game. He's a huge asset for us and for me. Yep.